God really write a love story better than we could ever imagine? Well, today's story might just answer that question in the most beautiful way. Welcome to Found Faithful, the Unwavered Life, where we have candid conversations on faith, love, and the weight that shapes us. I'm your host, Candace, and I'm so glad you're here. In our very first episode, we're starting off strong, sharing the incredible journey of my friends Charis and Will, a story of miracles, community, prayer, and how God brought these two hearts together in His perfect timing, with a lot of fun details woven in. So whether you're single and waiting, newly married like our couple, or just in need of a reminder that God is always at work, I pray this episode encourages and inspires you. So if their story touched you, I'd love for you to share this with a friend that might just need the hope today. And without further ado, let's dive into Charis and Will's beautiful journey. Welcome, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Oh, thank you, guys. And y'all are the first guests on this podcast, which is my first ever podcast.
Yes.
But I'm so excited.
First of many.
Don't want to sound like that. Yes, thank you. Don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm very appreciative and thank y'all so much. Let's just get started, I guess.
Okay. I'm Charis, previously Castello, because I got my name changed finally.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a must do.
Yeah, it's so much harder than you would think that it would be, since so many people do it. But anyways, I'm Charis, and I'm in school right now to get my master's in counseling with a specialty in marriage and family. And I go to Church of the King. That's where we met. And I volunteer doing
a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm sort of like a miscellaneous volunteer. I just do whatever they ask me to do. So like young adults, youth, worship, King's Kids, that sort of thing. The little kiddos, little babies. Yeah.
Sweethearts.
Yeah, they're so cute. We love them all.
Yeah.
And yep, now it's your turn.
Oh, so I'm Will. Always Palomares.
Always have been, always will be.
I'm originally from South Carolina. I came from the Myrtle Beach area. Moved down here. I went to undergrad in Coastal Carolina, and then I moved down here to get my PhD at LSU. Was here for a few months. Was trying to find a church. Found Church of the King.
Yeah, through AI.
Right.
AI.
That's so cool.
I'm sure we'll get to that.
But you know, this is kind of funny. I'm sorry. But this is kind of funny. When we first met, we both thought he was older than me.
Okay.
Because when we met, I was like, hey, I'm doing my undergraduate at LSU. And he was like, oh, she's younger than me. And he was like, hi, I'm getting my PhD at LSU. So I was like, oh, he's older than me. No.
Not the case.
He's just super smart, and I'm super dyslexic, and we swap.
Hey, it worked out.
Yeah.
And so I help out at Church of the King as well. I'm a volunteer with the young adults, the youth, worship, production, King's Kids, stuff like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I remember when you first came, and I met you way sooner than that. But I remember when you came, you were just kind of like checking it out and everything, and then connected really quickly. So I thought that, at least I thought so.
You immediately
really
were like,
cool.
all right, I'm getting involved in everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard not to. I wanted to find a way to connect with her.
That's not the reason.
I don't think that's how it happened, really.
No.
Well, about that, how did y'all meet?
So we met. Oh, she was actually. I would say she's the first girl I met when I moved down to Louisiana, outside of the ladies at the Cane's drive-thru.
Yes, they knew him by name apparently.
Oh, that's so
funny.
Oh, can I tell a story about when you first walked in?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this was right when Gerard first took over, just about, like, he had been there for a couple of weeks, and at that time it wasn't a lot of leaders. Like, it had gone down to maybe like 5, like a handful of leaders, and most of them worked there. And we weren't getting that many people coming at this time. I think, when was it? It was like right when LSU first started.
Yeah, it was the beginning of August.
Beginning of
2023, I think.
Yeah. So we were sort of, a lot of the times it would just be us hanging out with our crew. And so we were playing like Spicy Uno, where it's like spicy because there's all these street rules.
I just learned about Spicy Uno
like
2 days ago.
Not spicy because of other reasons.
Purely wholesome reasons that it's spicy. But like one of the rules was Gerard's rule, and it was if someone plays a 7, you can't say a single word until someone plays another 7, or you have to pick up a card for every word you said. And so someone played a 7, and then we heard the door open, and literally it was like a table of 7 leaders, all silently turned and just looked at them. And like no one wanted to say anything, so they walked across, and you know the annex is big.
Yeah.
They walked from the door almost all the way to the table before any of us said anything. And we were all looking around, we all looked at Gerard because it was his role, and also he's in charge of young adults, and he was like,
Wait, so that was you coming in?
that was
Yeah, it
him.
was me, and there was one other guy that it was his first time.
And that was your
Yeah.
first time, and that's
It
the
was my
welcome they
first time.
gave you.
I
Nothing.
know, we
It
walked
was
in
like-
silently, and we all just looked at him.
It was it was you, it was Zoe, who's her friend, Gerard, who's your young adults coordinator, and his wife,
Yes.
and then their son. So it was 5 people.
And they
No.
gave you a great welcome.
Yeah, it was just
Was Holston there?
yeah. Halston was there.
Because he was silent too, and no one was saying a thing.
How long were they silent? So like
It was
they
like-
made you-
It was long enough for it to be awkward.
Yeah, until they got to like the center of the room, because we all just like looked at Gerard, and he was like, because you know Gerard's competitive.
Right.
He was like, "Hey guys."
and that's how you knew this was the church for you.
Yeah, I mean, something like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I skipped ahead about the whole AI thing.
Okay, but honestly, just for that, like piggyback on that, did you notice her right away, like when you saw her? Or were you just so involved with the awkwardness? that
You're
You're like,
mortified.
No, I would actually say, so this is interesting. I came in, and so like I said, I wasn't looking for a relationship or anything like that. And so I wasn't really like paying attention to like, oh, you know, the girls or, you know, anything like that. But I remember sitting down, and, you know, everybody's introducing themselves, and Charis was like, you know, I was just introducing myself, and then Charis just kind of randomly goes, "Hi, Will, I'm Charis," and she goes, "I also go to LSU for psychology," and she was explaining all this stuff, but she had just like this happiness and joy about her. And growing up, I'm pretty introverted, or at least I was pretty introverted. I still think I am, but I was just like, "Why are you talking to me?
Stop.
Like you're a random stranger, and how are you so like gleeful and stuff like that?" And so I was just like really not off-put, but like confused.
yeah,
Gosh forbid a girl be hospitable.
I know,
Yeah.
right? That does happen.
And so I was really confused, and I was just like, I'm not really sure how to respond.
My world has just been rocked. Okay.
Yeah. But no. Yeah, and then there's other things, like I grew up in a Methodist church, United Methodist Church, and then briefly went to a Southern Baptist church, so it's a lot different than the non-denominational church we go to now. And the way Young Adults works is you have this time for connection at pre-service, and then during service we have a worship, a message. Sometimes we'll do small groups, and then a time for connection post-service. And that we'll go get food or something like that. But I remember going into service into worship, like worship back at my old churches, we just sang hymns out of hymn, you know? So we didn't do any contemporary songs or anything like that. So it was a lot more contemporary here. And I also like worship back at my old churches. It's like you're not really given the ability to like worship outside of just, you know, you stand still and you sing.
And you sing the song.
Yeah, and you sing the song out of a hymnal. And so
No freedom to express.
yeah, you don't have any sort of, or like I guess you can express, but at least in the environments I grew up in, it's like expressing yourself in worship. It was kind of like viewed as weird. And I mean, nothing wrong with those churches. It's however you want to roll. But Charis, I remember looking over to her, and she's like a worshiper. She's, you know, God, I love you, you know, all of this stuff. And I was like, it was like I was of two minds, because there was one mind was like, oh, that's kind of strange, because that's how I grew up.
Right.
But then the second mind was like, well, I want to feel that comfortable to worship the Lord like that, you know?
That is so cool.
Yeah, I used to always go to the back because I was like, I'm distracting. I'm so distracting to people. But now a lot of people worship like that.
Yeah, no, I think it's encouraging. Like when I see people just giving it all out to God, that encourages me. So kudos to you for like not going to the back and staying in the front, and then you noticing that, and then giving you the freedom. Which brings me to the point, because I mean, you sing on the worship team and you play music. So So you did that aside from your old church where you thought maybe that you shouldn't be doing that, like playing music? Or?
Yeah, so I do music, like I picked up guitar and I do a little bit of singing, but I did that not even related to church or anything for the longest time. I did that like right post-COVID. I was going through a bad breakup and I was bored and I just wanted something to like fill my time.
Right.
That's why you do everything. You're like, I did it because I was bored.
Yeah, and so I was like, I wanted something productive to do, because I was in my junior year of undergrad, and I was like, I love music.
As we can tell back here with this beautiful setup.
That's right.
Record player.
Yeah, Charis called me on our like second date. She called me a music snob. So,
What kind of music do you like? I'm like, nothing you would like. He's like, why? I was like, because you're a snob. What is music?
Which is probably true, and I take that as a compliment.
You should.
But no, yeah, I love music. I really love like folky acoustic music. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna pick up a guitar that we had laying around at my parents' house when I lived there and learn guitar. And then I actually started helping out one of my best friends. His name's Evan Carr, but he had a youth ministry, and so I started helping out with him. And he was like, "Oh, you play guitar?" So I would help out and do worship there for his youth back in South Carolina.
Wow.
But on the side, I would also write my own music, do stuff like that. And then coming here was just kind of something totally separate. Was doing, just still doing music on my own. And yeah, I didn't know she served on the worship team until I think one Sunday I came in and she was singing up there. I was like, well, I like her even more now.
Yeah. So getting back to that, okay, so you saw her at that when they had that games. What was it called? Spicy Uno?
Spicy Uno, yeah.
And then from then on, what happened?
So I don't know if she knows this. So, like I said, the rest of that service, I saw her during worship, and I was like really intrigued by her.
Intrigued is a funny word.
And but like I said, I don't like meeting new people. I'm pretty reserved. I just think like.
I feel like you've come a long way with that, though.
You have,
yeah.
You
Yeah.
seem so friendly.
You're on the greeter team. He's the head of the greeter team.
Yeah.
That's right, in youth. That's true. But like I probably wasn't. It wasn't anything with Church of the King or Gerard or any of the young adults. I was like, okay, this was a step outside my comfort zone. I probably won't be back.
Okay.
And then Gerard was like, let me get your number so I can, connect with you. So I gave him my number. And then James, who's another one of our friends, he was a groomsman at our wedding. He was there with his girlfriend, Ramsey, who's one of Charis's bridesmaids, and they were all going to Chick-fil-A, and me and him connected a good bit. And he's like, come to Chick-fil-A with us. And I was like...
James is such a welcoming guy.
He
He's
is,
like always so joyful.
And
I don't think I've ever seen him without like a smile on his face.
No, he'll be having like a terrible day. He'll be like,
exactly.
it's a tough one today. I'm not going to lie to you, but the Lord's got it. He's going to use it.
Oh,
Like,
praise
yes.
God.
Yeah.
Praise God.
And so I was like, yeah, I guess I'll come to Chick-fil-A. And then we stayed in the Chick-fil-A till it closed. I got to know...
Those poor people did not like us.
Yeah, I got to know everybody better. It was like my first opportunity to connect with people my age. And then I just kind of kept going ever since then. I was about to say, there was a few...
But you were there, right?
Yeah, she was at
I was
Chick-fil-A.
at the Chick-fil-A, yeah.
It was her, Zoe, who was her maid of honor, Ramsey, and James.
That's right.
And so...
I was all people in the wedding. That's funny.
Yeah, and so we were all like really close. And I was like, oh, I'm going to keep coming I'm going to come again for young adults and just keep going. And I don't know if she knows this, but I left that Chick-fil-A and called up Evan, the one that I helped with his youth ministry. And I was just kind of talking with him. And then he asked me, he goes, so was there any girl that you...
Stop.
Was there any girl that you thought? And I was like...
No.
Well, I was like, no, like, I'm not supposed to look, I was like, or not, I'm not supposed to, but I'm like, I'm not looking for a relationship.
You're not focused on that.
And I was like, there's a few that, or it's like, there was one that I thought was cute, but like.
You.
The truth comes
I'm
out.
sorry, I'm joking.
No, but I was like, but I'm not really looking for a relationship or anything like that. And then, so I went to church. Not that Sunday, but the next Sunday.
And can I ask real quick, why is that you weren't looking for it? Is it just you were just so focused on trying to get your stuff done and then go back home to the Carolinas?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I really felt like it was like, okay, I'm in Louisiana. I was like of two minds about it. Well, I was of multiple minds about it. One that I was like, okay, I'm here just for school, and I'm gonna come here, and then I'm gonna go back home, and that's gonna be it. The second mind was that like I had to spend a lot of time in prayer, and like I knew the Lord was calling me to LSU because I had a few different offers, and I was probably gonna go to Baylor, but last minute I was like, I felt like the Lord was calling me to LSU.
Yeah, and they offered you more money too.
Yeah, they did offer me
In Baylor.
Wow, yeah.
And so I was like, okay. But every time I prayed about it, it really felt like, to me, it felt like the Lord was like, you're going to grow a lot in this season. And to me, I really felt like, I kept on seeing like, it's just going to be me and God, you know, and we're going to be trucking through this together. And I think for me that I was thinking, well, that's outside of community. And so I was like, I don't need community. I don't like, it's just going to be me and God, and I'm going to grow through this, which just didn't turn out to be true because it's been about a month in Louisiana, a month and a half, and not having any community. And I'm like, this stinks. And then the third one was, at that time I was like, I hadn't just gotten out of the bad relationship, but I had been a few years removed from a relationship, and it was just like, I don't know, it wasn't great. And I was like, oh, you know, I was still hung up on the girl, and so I was like, oh, you know, probably still the hopeless romantic of it was like, somehow, some way this is gonna get figured out. But like I said, it ended up not, and for the best because I found
For sure.
the perfect person.
For sure.
Aww.
Yeah.
No, that's
Actually, we had both broken up with our exes around the same time.
Yeah.
So we were both about 3 years removed from that, having not dated anybody when we got together.
Yeah, because I know you and I've had talks, like before Will, you started coming to church, I was like, because that's my thing, I'm like, hey Charis, hey you guys, you know, just kind of ask. And yeah, you seemed very content. Like, yeah, the desire was there. From what I remember, the desire was there, but like, felt like you were fully content.
Yeah.
Just doing your studies and everything. I was like, okay, well that's really cool, because it's not, sometimes, you know, you meet people that are just, AKA sometimes me, where you're like, no, that's the longing of my heart, that's what I want, and I'm like kind of looking for it, without looking for it, if that makes sense. But I love that you were just like, oh, I've got time, and you know, yeah, that time comes.
I was like that pretty much from when I broke up with my ex for 3 years until right before my car accident. Like, for like a,
Which we'll get
I
into.
want to say like a couple of weeks before that, it just like, it was like it clicked back in my heart. And I was like, God, I want to be in a relationship. I want to be married, and like, it was so weird because it was out of nowhere.
I know, y'all's story is beautiful, so I'm so excited to hear more.
Yeah.
So that's what you did. You met her when you called
Evan.
Evan.
Yeah.
When you called Evan, he asked you about the girls, and you said maybe there was one.
Yeah, I was like, maybe there was one. And so, like I said, I came to church the next Sunday. Not that Sunday, but the Sunday following. And, like, there's moments in my head. I always say that me and Charis flirted all the way up until us getting in a relationship, and she denies it. But I remember, like, talking
My
to
half
her.
of the flirting was not telling him to get lost.
Oh,
that was my
so
half.
funny. She was just a happy person.
Apparently,
Yeah.
so. But I remember, like, it was the day after my birthday or something like that, and it was, so we were at church service, and I was going out to eat with someone that I had just met, but Charis and Zoe approached me, and they're like, Will, like, do you want to go grab lunch and stuff? And I was like, yes, but I couldn't because I already had made plans with
Like,
someone else from the church.
Shoot!
But there was just other instances. I would keep going to young adults, and like this is where I say she was flirting with me. It's like she would always find ways to be like, Will, why don't you and me play like ping pong, or why don't we play pool or something
What do
like
you mean?
that?
I never was like, hey, we should go play pool. He's really competitive, which I think a lot of people can't tell because he keeps it inside. But he would constantly be like, oh, I'm amazing at pool. I'm like, oh, I'm good at pool too. He's like, yeah, well, I would beat you. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, if we play sometime, we'll see who wins.
Okay, so
Flirting. You would think I was throwing myself at him.
I don't know if that.
But you know what? That's probably the motivation you needed. Like her just being her normal self, and you're like, oh, she's flirting with me.
Yeah.
I love it.
For sure.
The only time I think I ever actually flirted before we got together was whenever I was talking about like, because you were talking about how you weren't able to write music while I was away on my car accident, but then when I got back, you were able to write. And I was like, hey, I'm your muse.
Oh, that's so great.
And I'm really joking about that. But by that point, I already knew that he had a crush on me, so I was
Yes. Okay, speaking about that, I know there's somebody else who played a role.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's multiple people, but for sure, Gerard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what's his role? How did that happen?
There's a lot of people. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people.
There were a lot of people involved.
All of her roommates were involved. Her roommates were the first people involved.
Okay. So how'd that come about? Like you told the roommates, or they just kind of figured it
So-
out?
I
Or
think
like,
this is while I was gone.
No, it wasn't actually.
No, it wasn't.
There was a young adults like leadership night, and so we went to Gerard, who's our young adults coordinator. We went to his in-laws' house, and we were all just kind of. It was like a vision night to okay, how's young adults going to be, and you know, this was probably 3 weeks after. And at this point in time, like I said, I didn't want a relationship.
3
but
weeks after what?
3 weeks after I first started coming to the church, I think. My bad. And I didn't want a relationship, but like again, I felt like Charis was really like, what's the word? Like intoxicating. Like, oh, I wanna,
It's
yeah.
really intoxicating.
that's perfect. Actually,
Is no way to put it.
Yeah, and so I was like, I wanna like get to know more, and so I was
I'm
like,
obsessed with this girl.
I was always trying to find ways to like talk to her. And then at one point in time, I was talking, and I don't remember what happened, but we were at the event, and I was looking across at her, and you know, just not really doing anything. But Danielle, her roommate, was like, "I see you,"
Oh no! Wow.
and I was
that's so
like,
cool.
"What do you mean?" And she was like, "I see what you're doing," and I'm like, "You're gonna have to expound," you
Right.
know. And she was like, "You have a crush on Charis," and I'm like, I've only been here for like 3 weeks. Like, no, I don't have a crush on Charis. And she was like, "You can be honest with me," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Yeah, I think she's cute," and so we talked, and so, you know, I got a lot of like invites to, because she had a bunch of roommates, and her roommates would always invite me out to hang out, play pickleball, stuff like that, because they wanted me and her to be together.
Well, at that point, did you express that you thought he was cute or anything, or no? Or we're just trying to like help you out.
Yeah, they were just trying to help. Yeah, they were just trying to help me
Which
out.
I would have considered Will a friend of mine.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I never, and I don't know if other girls do this, I think it might just be a guy thing. I didn't go around, like, whenever I met a guy, evaluating whether I would want to date him or not. That was never my mindset. So, like, whenever I found out that he had a crush on me, like, my evaluation of him started at that moment. I was like, well, would I want to be in a relationship with him?
Okay.
So he had, like, what is it, like a year of
Writing
considering
all this.
it more than I did.
Well, a year, I'm gonna say.
Well,
like 6 months.
no, I think it was more than 6 months because I was gone for 3 months.
Yeah, I got there in August though, and we started dating in February.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to do the math. I'll
Yeah.
trust you on that.
It's less than a year though, but okay.
Yeah.
But a good
But-
chunk of time.
Yeah, it was a good
Big
chunk of
chunk
time.
of time.
And,
Ahead of me. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
but no, and so it just kind of love roommates to death. But it kind of spread like wildfire. Like everybody knew by the end of it that I had a crush on Charis. And Gerard was great. Me and Gerard met a few times. He was never like pushy about it. He was just like,
Which is kind of unlike him.
Really? So you can be pushy about it.
Everybody else, like with Zach, whenever Zach and Danny were dating,
Oh, right.
like he was like, "You've got 3 weeks to ask Danny out."
I remember
Yeah.
him saying that.
or with Evan and Evan and
Evan and Zoe.
Yeah.
For some reason with us, he was like, "I'm gonna hold off."
Yeah, he was always just like, he's like, "Yeah, I heard about this," and he goes, "So what's the deal with you and Charis?" And I would just tell him. He goes, "All right," and he was never like, he would just be someone that I could talk to, which was really good.
That's the thing. You probably needed that, like versus Evan and
Needed the
Zach.
push, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there was some times where he would push me, but like I said, for the most part, he was just like, "All right, you're good," which was great because the other Evan, the one that I would call Evan Carr, he was always the one that's like, he goes, "Will, what are you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
He wasn't just pushing; he was like kicking.
yeah, he was like, "She obviously likes you. Go ask her out."
She obviously likes you. Everything you're telling me, she's flirting for sure.
Exactly.
I know. And then when we get to the car accident, we can talk about the hospital food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but and so yeah, a lot of people played a role, and so once she got back healthy again, like I said, someone ended up telling her that I liked her.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So you started this crush that you had for her, and all your friends kind of knew about it, mutual friends, but you didn't know about it. Or did you know that he liked you? You hadn't heard it till after.
I didn't know, like, I don't know, I feel like this is going to sound immodest if I say it, but, like, you can kind of tell when a guy finds you attractive, and I knew that he found me attractive to an extent, like, but I didn't realize the extent, like, that he had a crush and he was intending on asking me out, which I respected, because I feel like a lot of the times a guy will, like, you can tell he thinks you're attractive, and he'll go and talk to other people and be like, oh, I like her, so I date her.
Yeah.
And so he expects it to get back to me and me to go up and be like, hey, I would say yes if you asked me out.
Yeah.
But I'm not into that vibe. Like, if you're not willing to even risk getting rejected, then I don't want to.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think it's necessary. And I know every situation is different, every story is different, but I like your take on that.
Yeah.
So tell me about the car accident, because that's an important part too, and it's also a good testimony about like God's faithfulness and just
it's probably the biggest miracle I've ever experienced in my life and I've ever seen.
Right.
But it was so it was my mom's birthday. Do you remember the day?
It's like October 15th, I think.
October 15th.
It's either October 13th, 14th, or 15th.
It was the day before my mom's birthday then. I was driving to Manville because I had made her a cake, and I was like doing stuff. This was a Saturday. I was doing stuff on that Sunday, and that Saturday was an LSU game, and they use those like sawhorses to block off the entrance to my apartment whenever LSU has games, which I'm really annoyed about. But anyways, so I had to leave the house really late. So I left my parents' house at like 10:30 or something like that. So I was driving. And this will come up later, but I was listening to the Harry Potter audiobooks just to like keep me awake. And then like halfway through the drive, I was like, oh shoot, I got worship tomorrow. Let me practice the songs. Because I was supposed to do worship at like 7 a.m. I was supposed to be there the next day. So I was listening to worship songs. And then I woke up in considerable pain in the hospital with a nurse over me being like, your parents are in the other room. We're giving you a shot.
Wow.
And so what had happened was I was in the left lane going, I don't even know, not 100 miles an hour.
Right.
And a drunk driver, you know those people who are always like through traffic, and you're always like, wow, I can't believe they don't hit somebody. They do. They hit people. So he tried to swerve around the car that was in the right lane and didn't see me because I have a dark car or something, I don't know. And he hit me kind of at an angle, which threw my car up in the air, and it flipped. It landed on the other side going the opposite direction on another car that had 5 people in it.
Wow, I didn't know that part.
And so by the time it had hit that, if I had been in the car, I would have died.
Yeah.
But I had been ejected, and I landed in like the only tiny little patch of grass anywhere around, and it had just rained, so it was mushy.
Yeah.
And so
and you still had your seatbelt on?
No, actually, the seatbelt. Okay, so there's only 2 ways that you can get ejected from a car. One is you're not wearing your seatbelt and you get ejected through an open window or a broken window or something. The other way is if the seatbelt fails. That actually happened to my mom.
Oh, wow.
And also, my mom and I both got very similar car accidents on election day.
Interesting.
So that's weird, but that's aside the point. Anyways, your seatbelt fails and you get ejected. Neither of those happened to me. My seatbelt worked perfectly. I had it on perfectly, and it was still clicked in whenever the paramedics got there and was like looking at the car.
Wow.
There were no.
So that's crazy.
And then they also thought that I had gone through the windshield because it was broken, but then it was determined the windshield was broken when it landed on the other car.
Wow.
So we really have no idea how I got out at all.
So when you got ejected, you landed, I thought, for whatever reason, I thought you landed with the chair and the seatbelt, but you...
Because people talk about how my seatbelt was still...
Right,
like,
gotcha.
but I was out. Somehow I slipped through. Somehow I slipped through the car. I really don't know if I, like... Because, like... I'm not going to pretend like I don't think it was like a complete miracle. I think maybe I just phased through the car. Yeah. I'm just going to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, be honest.
I
mean, we believe God. We believe He can do anything. So
yeah, that's just what I genuinely think happened. And like it's impossible. Like you just got to look up the stats on this. Like if you are ejected from a car, like if you have your seatbelt on and you're not ejected from a car, you have like a certain percentage chance of surviving. If you're not wearing your seatbelt, you stay in the car, you have a very low chance, like something like 15%. It's almost zero. It's almost completely zero if you're not wearing your seatbelt and you're ejected.
Yeah.
That you survive. And even if people that survive, they're quadriplegic, paraplegic, brain damage, they have to have something amputated.
And look at you.
And so the fact that
You're in the hospital in like 4 days, aren't you?
no, I was in the hospital for about 6 days. And I was not sorry, I was doing that thing, the contrarian thing again. But anyways, those 2 days matter to me. But my injuries were not like nothing, but they were nothing comparatively. Like I had like 2 broken ribs, I had a collapsed lung, I had a broken clavicle which was dislocated, and so the muscles were dislocated with it. Sorry. So I couldn't use this arm for a while, and just other miscellaneous stuff. The thing that hurt the worst was where I landed.
Okay.
Right on my hip.
Oh wow.
Which was like a fatty place. So it's like a good place to land, but oh my gosh, it hurt so bad that we got it like scanned twice because they were thinking that it broke, but it didn't. It wasn't broken. It just hurt.
Do you have any like effects or side effects from it till this day, or you're fine?
No, I don't. I have the scars, and it's so funny because I prayed that God would like get rid of the scars, because I was like, I didn't like them for the longest time, and I was like, God, you did everything else, would you sweep up the last little bit? Which I don't know is ungrateful for me. I was just like, if you wouldn't mind.
But God knows that, and it's a hard too, so.
He wouldn't get rid of it. What's funny is so many people ask me about my scar, the big fat one on my back that I wanted to get rid of, and so I'm able to use it to like talk about the testimony. So it's like just a little tag. It's like Jesus was here kind of tag.
Oh, let me tell you about this guy.
Yeah, let me tell you about. You wanna know how I got these scars? But yeah, and then there's just like a million things. Like I could talk about it for hours. It's like the surgeon who did my surgery, he works on athletes, so it's crazy that we got in with him. Apparently the surgery was going terribly. They were supposed to put like a metal plate in it, and it just wasn't coming together. But then like he had to stop and just pray, because I didn't know he was a Christian at the time.
Wow.
But he prayed over it, and he said that it came together like it just slipped in, and they didn't even have to use that metal plate.
Praise God.
I didn't know that.
That's a miracle too. So many stories.
After that, I was supposed to at best have 3 months of physical therapy, like with a physical therapist. I needed 1 month of at-home therapy, just doing it myself. I wasn't supposed to have full range of my arm anymore, and I have full range of it, and I use it for work. Like I lift stuff up. So it's just really crazy.
That's so crazy. So you were in the hospital, you woke up in pain, everything gets settled, but then, Will, what were you thinking? I mean, she's in an accident.
So it's actually kind of funny. So around the time that she was doing,
it's funny.
Well, no, not that. I'm gonna shamelessly plug myself. Like I said, I do music, and so I was working on a new album.
Look at my album. Look him up, Will P on Spotify.
Yeah, I do have some music out, but I was writing this, and this album kind of became a muse about Charis, like, and just also just about moving and stuff. But there was a lot of songs about Charis in there, and so I was writing one of the songs, the song we actually played at our wedding, which was crazy.
It happened during the candle lighting though, so I don't think people were listening because of the match issue.
Oh gosh. Yeah, we got distracted with that. But
but no, I was writing that song around the same time she got in the accident. It took me it was 10 p.m. to about 12 a.m. I was writing that song. So it's just kind of crazy coincidence. But I came in. So that was a Saturday. I came in on Sunday. And some of her roommates work at the church, and they were like, and they're crying, and the pastor at the time was like, "Oh, why don't you go ahead and tell Will?" Because he knew that I had a crush on Charis as well. And,
everyone knew.
And so I was like, they had told me, and I was so mad. I was like mad and upset, and just had a lot of feelings. I wasn't like mad at Charis or anything.
Were you mad at God? Were you mad at?
I don't really know what I was mad at. I just remember being really upset, wanting to make sure she was okay and stuff, and I just didn't know how to feel. I remember I had some good friends. They were like they had known about it, and they were like, okay, we're gonna take you out to go hit some golf balls.
Okay.
And so and so that was good, but I was just I wasn't there to, I couldn't see her, I was like, I don't know how she's doing or anything like that. I remember I actually looked her up on Facebook to be like, I gotta see, like I just need some confirmation that she's not dead, you know?
Right, yeah.
Even though they told me she wasn't dead.
Right, but
I wasn't
how
happy
was
about
she?
that.
Yeah.
My aunt took a picture of me while I was in the hospital.
When they posted that?
And she posted it online being like, pray for my my niece, look at her.
Yeah.
I look horrible.
Oh,
She
God.
still has it up too. It's rough.
Yeah.
But no, and so I was just like, you know, it was just kind of surreal. You know, I knew where she was in. You were at Our Lady of the Lake in Baton Rouge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you were in Baton Rouge? I thought you were, for whatever reason, I thought you were Mandeville.
I thought I was in Mandeville. Literally the entire time I was in the hospital, people were visiting me. I was like, wow, I can't believe they're driving an hour to come see me.
I would have joked about Rouge. No disrespect. I would have.
But I was in the hospital that I work across from now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
And so I was actually like, I knew she was at Our Lady of Lake Baton Rouge. I wanted to go in, bring some flowers, be like, oh my gosh, so glad you're alive. I was told explicitly not to do that because they said it would be creepy. Her roommate said it would be creepy. I disagree with them.
Oh, okay, because you had no clue that he like was in seriously.
Yeah.
And,
So they thought if he showed up, it would be creepy. But my dad gives you a
Yeah,
hard
her
time
dad
about that.
gives me a hard time about it, which I think is funny.
Got
But
It's like, were you there for her when she was in the hospital?
I tried.
and that's what I always say. I said I tried.
And he
I
goes,
was-
not hard enough.
Exactly. Not hard enough.
And so it was. I mean, it was October. You came back January. It was like 3 to 4 months where I just didn't see her, and so the only thing I had was once the information kind of went public that she was in the hospital and she was, you know, or that she had been released. You know, I had her number, so I would text her. I would text her probably. I didn't want to be too creepy, so I text her like once every other week, just checking in, make
I
sure
love it,
she's
bravo.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but it made me know that you had a crush on me. I think that's when I knew for sure. Because, like,
Well, good.
yeah, making reasons to text me. And I was like, oh, okay, he's got a crush on me, like, for reals.
Yeah, and so I would just do that. And in the meantime, it was just kind of like, you know, I grew in community. It was interesting because I felt like being a part of Church of the King. Loved everyone there, but everybody knew I had this huge crush on Charis. And Charis was coming all the time because it was her church first.
I was coming all the time.
No, before that. And I was like, so I would show up to young adults and then Charis would be there, and then it was always like, ooh, Will, you better make a move on Charis, you know? And so she was gone, she was in Mandeville, you know, rehabbing from her injury.
Yeah.
So it gave me time to really grow in community with the people there, but like grow into like myself as well, and like them get to know me not as the guy that has a crush on Charis, but like,
That's true. That's a
oh,
good
this
point.
is who Will is, you know?
Like on your own, standing on your own. Charis is not there, so it's not like the distraction of trying to get y'all together.
Yeah. And I think that really helped. I mean, obviously, I wish Charis was there.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
It's probably good because I think before that, everyone was just like, oh, that's just the guy who likes Charis.
Yeah, and so there was definitely some like growing there, and I made a lot of friends that way, and so it was really good in that sense. And once Charis got back, it also kind of gave me. It was interesting because the week before she got in the accident, we were all hanging out at her place with her roommates and stuff, and Charis had to go to work. And so this was like right after church was on Sunday. Charis had gone into work, and I had been at the apartment. Yeah.
I worked on Sundays?
And I think you worked after church that Sunday. Yeah.
okay.
And then I was at the apartment whenever she left for work, and I was talking to her roommates. Like I said, I was friends with all the people there. And then she had come back, and I was still at her apartment. And she's like, "You're still here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And we just sat and talked for hours. I actually had an assignment due at 10 p.m. and it was like 9:30.
Wow.
And I was like,
Goodness.
I've done the assignment. I just haven't turned it in yet. So I had to rush home. But I remember on the way home, I called up Evan because we had talked for hours, like 3-4 hours, and it had just really been me and her. I was like, she likes me. There's no way she would talk to
No,
me.
Danny was there. She just wasn't talking.
Yes, but she wasn't engaging in the
Because
conversation.
she knew. She's like, I'm just going to let them roll.
Yeah.
And so I called off Evan. I was like, she likes me. Like, she talked to me for 3 or 4 hours. Like, there's no reason,
That
you
she
know.
do that,
Yeah.
right?
And like, I had to cut the conversation off. So I was
Charis
like,
is probably like, I mean, you're at my house. I'm not going to be rude.
No, that's literally it. Actually,
exactly what
I feel bad saying this, but I was annoyed when I got home and he was still there.
Oh.
Because I had just worked and he had been there for like 10 hours. I was like,
that's true.
what, dude? What are you still doing in my house? And then, like, I wasn't annoyed at you, but I was just annoyed in general. And then you were Danny's guest. Like, Danny invited you over and she was there not talking to you. You were just alone. She was on her computer. And I was like, that's rude.
Yeah.
So I was talking to you and then, like, I wasn't going to cut it off and be like, well.
See, and I would have thought that you liked Danny because you were there. And I was like, oh, they spent the whole day together. Okay, I'm going to go to my room in peace.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, I just remember I called up Evan and I was like, hey, she has a crush on me. So at that point in time, because I was like really bad, I was setting arbitrary dates to be like, well, once this happens, I'm going to ask her out. And then that would happen. And I'm like, well, no, then this needs to happen. But at that point in time, I was like, all right, I feel like I have enough information. Because the last thing I wanted to do, I think a big thing that fear was taking over was like, I didn't want to ask Charis out. She didn't like me, and then she'd be like, "No," and then like it causes this weird thing with the tension with like friends and stuff like that. Because like I said, all of my friends were her friends, and they were her friends first, and so I wasn't like about to. I don't want to cause any drama, but I was like, I told Evan, I was like, I'm gonna ask her out. I think she likes me. Then she got in the car.
And then I died.
Oh, well, thank God right now. Okay, pause on that. I want to add, because this is part of the car accident testimony too. When you left your parents' house because of your mom's birthday, your parents usually pray. It's part of the story, right?
Yes,
Say
that's
that
a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents always, like, right before they go to bed, they say, well, they tell me this, I'm not there, but they tell me that they, like, hold hands and they pray over the whole family and everything. My dad feels really strongly about doing that. And apparently they pray in, like, age order. Like, they pray for my older brother, and then my older sister, and then me, and then my younger brother. And apparently, right at the end, my dad switched back to praying for me again, which apparently he never does. They always go in order, and then that's it. And so he said, this is just what he tells me, that this was super uncharacteristic for him, and he never prayed that, like, angels would protect me and surround me or whatever, but he did that night.
Yeah.
And then, like, it was really late at night, so he was like, amen. And then he rolled over to try and go to sleep. And 30 seconds later, they got an alert on their phone from my Apple Watch that said that I had been in an accident, which means that they were praying for angels to surround me in the exact moment that I was hit by the car.
That's amazing. I mean, prayer is so powerful.
Yes.
I feel like when the Holy Spirit nudges you, like, just do it. Like, he prompts you because you don't know what is happening.
Yeah, that's so true. And if they had, like, waited, they wouldn't have been praying for me in the moment.
True.
And I don't know how much weight you want to put to this or whatever, but when I when I was in the hospital, I was like covered in bruises. Like my skin almost all over was like purple and whatever.
Wow.
It was like everywhere. But there were like 2 spots that were completely untouched, like on my thighs.
Stop.
And so everyone calls those like the angel handprints.
I love it.
It's like where I was grabbed. I don't know why they would grab me here, but
Hey, it's the easiest way to like.
it just picked
Have
me
you seen
up.
the cheerleader pyramids? Come on, they're like usually
That's
just,
true, but I had like a big handprint right there.
Right.
And it actually looked like a handprint.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, so I just wanted to like add that.
Yeah, a little spice.
But then back to she's in a car accident.
Yeah, so I was
She's
just,
in a car accident.
like I said, I didn't really have much. I would just text her every once in a while. Like I said, every other week, just kind of get a range on how she's doing, try and talk to her about random things. And then be like, it would genuinely sometimes be like the thing that's like, okay, this is kind of like the highlight, you know? I knew when she was getting surgery, she got surgery on our Friendsgiving for young adults, so I made sure to text her then that she was okay.
Oh, I didn't know it was on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Let me ask you this. This is random and probably, I don't know, I'm just going to go for it. But her accident, did it deter you? Or did you just like get stronger feelings? Or was it just consistently the
No,
same?
so it was the thing that was like, it was the thing that made me be like, when she gets back,
I have to do this.
I have to do this. It was interesting because, you know, I had talked to a few people and they're like, you know, right before I went back home during Christmas break, and she got back in January, they're like, Charis is going to get back soon. Are you still going to ask her out? Do you still like her? And
Your
I was
family
like,
or your friends?
No, some friends.
Oh, friends.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm still going to ask her out. Like, this is the thing. Sorry, my cat's over
that's
there.
great.
Happy's messing with her.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But I was definitely like, okay, this is the thing that's like, I can't keep pushing this back, you know, because who knows how much time we have. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do it. So no, there was definitely no deterrent there. It was a thing that's like, yeah, okay, I gotta.
It's like she's a hot commodity. Get in there.
Exactly. And so, I mean, she actually got back to Mandeville the day I moved back from South Carolina after Christmas break.
Really? Because you were at the Christmas party. Because I came back before I was back. I was gone for 3 months, but I came back once to Baton Rouge for a Christmas party that was in my apartment.
That's before I had left for Christmas break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, no, it was definitely something I was like, okay, I gotta jump in. And then it was actually, she had made a comment about it earlier. Like I said, doing my music and stuff like that, I had this whole idea for this album that I was doing, and as she was gone, I couldn't come up with any song, anything at all. And she came back for this Christmas party, and that day, knowing that she was going to be back, the day right before, I was able to come up with one of my songs, and I was able to record it and everything.
So awesome. Yeah.
And then I was like, I would keep trying after she had to leave again. I was like, I wasn't able to come up with anything. So being around her is like she's like a creative fountain.
Right.
Aw, that's sweet.
That is so cool. Okay, so when you came back for that quick visit, did you have any feelings towards? I mean, because you said him texting you every other week or whatnot. You kind of had an idea that he was crushing. But did anybody tell you like he really, really crushes you while you're at the hospital?
Not at that time. He actually hurt my feelings in that.
And during the
Christmas party.
Wait, what
I
happened?
don't really think about it. But so like it had like my arm thing had been a long journey. Like now we see the end of it and that it's totally fine. I can do whatever with it, but we didn't know at the time.
Right.
So I was getting use back in the arm. This was after the surgery or before? It was after.
It was after the surgery.
So I was getting use back in my arm prior to the surgery, and so I had never had surgery before, so I wasn't excited about it. And I was afraid because it was going to bring me back to not being able to use my arm again. Because it was healing the way that it was, and so we had to mess it up to put it where it was supposed to be, and so I couldn't use my arm again. And so I was kind of discouraged by that, but then I had finally gotten to the place where I could sort of use it. Like I was cleared to use 1 to 2 pounds of weight on my arm. I was stoked. I was so excited to share that. And so I came to the party, and Will was like, so can you use your arm at all? And I was like, yeah, I can use 1 to 2 pounds. And he was like, oh, so nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like...
And I literally almost cried.
Yeah, I was trying to like...
Or get out
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to joke around, and so I was like, oh, so like practically nothing.
No, you didn't say practically. You're like, oh, so nothing.
Yeah.
You didn't say practically.
But I was trying to be like, kind of joking around, but yeah. I think hindsight's 2020. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I was like, I worked really hard to get to this point.
But yeah, it's to the story. No, but I was going to say, I feel like you knew I liked you. If you didn't, you say you knew I liked you when I was texting you. But after I took your coasters for it.
Yeah. Well, see, it wasn't ever present on my mind. Like, I wasn't constantly like, this guy likes me, this guy likes me.
Right.
When I was interacting with him. So I knew, but I wasn't like acting.
Plus, you had so much going on. Like, you're just trying to recover.
That's true.
You're schooling. What are you going to do at school? Even though you probably,
Yeah, that could be its own story of the schooling, but I won't get into it.
No.
I won't even. But.
Oh, I was going to say, we were playing, for the Christmas party, we were playing White Elephant, like the gift exchange. And Charis, she had crocheted 2 coasters. They're here.
Yeah, they're here.
I'll say.
The little coasters. Actually, this is pretty funny because I was going to this Christmas party that had a white elephant at it, and I had no money because all of my money was in this car accident. I literally had no money to buy it, and I was like, I don't want to be the one that comes without a gift. And so I had yarn, so I was just crocheting like these coasters. And also my arm was really weak, so I could only, like, by 3 of them I was so exhausted. But I was like, you can't have one with just
4, right?
So I looked up, I was like, coaster sets. And I saw that some of them came with only 4. So I was like, okay, if I could just make 4, it'll be fine. And I cried that night because I was talking to my mom. I was like, I'm going to be the one, like, gift that people open and no one steals and everyone's, like, disappointed that they got and they're stuck with because no one will steal it from them. And I was, like, literally crying about it. But then, anyways, I brought it. And they're pretty, like you saw, they're pretty girly coasters, but they're cutesy.
Cute, yeah.
Anyways, a girl got them. Who was it? It was Tiante?
I think Tiante got them, and I had the last number of the white elephant, so I could pick of any gifts.
What should I steal? This Bluetooth speaker, or these girly coasters?
I remember I was like, oh, I need
crochet.
I was like, I need a speaker, But I was actually just on Amazon looking at coasters, so like I really need coasters. And her friend Zoe and
it was tied up with a little ribbon.
yeah,
too.
our friends Zoe and Evan were like, at the time, I mean, they had known. They're like, well, I think you should really get the coasters. I think.
I was gonna ask, like, how did you end up with the coasters?
Yeah. So I stole the coasters back, or I stole the coasters, and so now I have them, and I kept them with
I'm
me.
sure Tiante was thrilled. She was like, "Yay, secret!"
That was sad.
No, so I was just like, okay, I have these coasters now, and
And he used them in his house.
yeah, I used them in my first apartment that I had, and I was going to say that was on a Saturday, I think, and then the Sunday I actually met her parents because they came to the Baton Rouge.
Yeah, that's true. We
service.
came in Baton Rouge.
Okay, so let's pause real quick. I'm gonna go back to the coasters real quick
Yeah.
because girls can get like, all emotional about it and like sentimental. But when you had her coasters, were you just thinking, oh, it's just being nice and because I like her, or did you look at them like, oh, like I have a little piece of her heart or anything like that?
I think
Is that a thing guys do? Probably
well,
not. But.
No, I think there's like one part is like, I actually did need coasters.
Okay, yeah.
2, I did, and I didn't want to buy coasters.
Oh, because you didn't want to damage your
Furniture.
Amazon
exactly.
$2 table.
Stop.
No,
Gotta cover that with a coaster. What are you doing?
yeah. So I did need coasters. 2, it was like, okay, like I like her type thing. But then 3, there was not a part of me that's like, oh, I have a piece of her with me. But now looking at the coasters, like we use them every single day.
Right.
You know, they're all around the
And
house.
they're so cute, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm like, you know, when you think about like where the relationship's gone, it's kind of like a nice little
Reminder,
yeah. Yeah.
I like that. I'm a big like sentimental hoarder. Like I'll keep a ticket from like, oh, this is the time
That
I went to get a
meant
movie
something,
with my friend after this happened and we went to cheer up, that sort of thing.
And
So-
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, so it's nice we have a lot of little like sentimental things around.
And
And
you
so we have
mentioned
coasters.
you were like a hopeless romantic, so you kind of had the same thing too.
Yeah, and so like I have not to brag, I have a relatively good memory. So where I might not hold a lot of value. It's not that I don't hold value, and like those things, like I said, they're good like reminders. But like I'm just like it's just those moments. Like I recall a bunch of dates that we go on. It's like, you remember we did this and this and this and this, and those are the things that I hold on to a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've also made her something that was just something that y'all both did or remembered.
Oh,
The
yeah,
petals,
yeah.
the rose petals.
Yes, where is that?
I don't know.
I think, oh wait, it's upstairs in the
upstairs.
office because Rafi messes with it.
Okay.
So we want to get it
Rafi's
framed
okay.
under glass
Yeah.
so that, because she started like messing with the petals so they were scratching off because they're dried
Oh, yeah.
petals, so we keep it upstairs.
Yeah, but
Okay,
Yeah.
so then this is another question. This is like the one that I hear all the time. Like, how did you know? Well, we're not there yet, but like proceeding. Like, did you? You know, some people are like, "Is this? I don't feel peace," or "I do feel peace," or how did you know this was a relationship that God was like ordaining or orchestrating or wanting you to pursue?
We did not have peace.
no, we
There
didn't.
was no peace.
No, we didn't have peace. Well, okay, so I mean, there was no worldly peace. Let's say that. Divine. It's actually crazy, and this is what I often say too. It's like God would always put Charis on my mind and be like, "This is the person you're going to marry."
Oh, okay.
From pretty much as soon as I met her, and I was just like I said, I was like, no, like I'm not here for that or anything like that. But he was very much like pressing us forward, like this is going to be the person. And
You're literally that guy that's like, God told me that we're gonna get married one day.
yeah, and so by the time, like I said, January had come around, and I asked her out. I had peace about asking her out on the date, and that was fine. What wasn't fine afterwards was, like I said, everybody knew that I liked Charis.
Yeah.
And everybody, once I had asked her out, most people knew that, okay, we were going out on the date.
Yeah.
Love people. Love my church family. But everybody has their own idea of what a perfect date is.
Okay.
And also that,
And everyone thinks that they know what I would want.
yeah, they know what she would want, and they know what I should do. And there was also like this weird imposition that like we're going on a date, so we have to be made for each other and stuff like that,
Yeah,
which was a
basically.
lot of pressure
Right.
to be put onto us like right at the get-go. There were some multiple points because I asked her out on a Monday. We had a date on Saturday. And there would have been multiple points where I was like, I'm gonna call it off. Like, this is just too much.
Really?
And she was even like,
I almost was like calling it off or whatever. And I don't know if you even know this, but like the day that you asked me out, I literally was crying to my roommates because like it was so much pressure. And it's been like, I was gone for 3 months. We're healing from my accident. And so the entire time everyone had been formulated like, oh, we're gonna get together, this is why we're perfect for each other, this is what our first date would be. And those entire 3 months, I was not getting to know Will at all.
Yeah.
I knew him for like 2 months before I left a little bit, just from like the few interactions we had. But for the most part, he was sort of like, he was a friend of mine, but more like an acquaintance friend you didn't know that well. And everyone else knew him super well. They had hung out with him a million times. They talked about this day. They decided that we were perfect for each other, that sort of thing. And so it was like, if we went on a date and it didn't work out, I would not just be disappointing him, I would be disappointing everyone in the whole church, is what it felt like. And so I was calling on my friends and I was like just overwhelmed. And I told my roommates, who, you know, meant really well, I was like, back off, y'all. And so I was just, I don't know. And then I added another element that everyone, whenever we did end up working out, spoiler alert to the story, they felt like they all had a part in it, so it was sort of crowdfunded, so they got to like speak into a relationship. And some people we were like, we do want people to speak into a relationship, but not everyone. It's not like everyone has a say in what we do. So it was like a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it caused some issues down the line, but like I said, it was a lot of pressure to the point where, like, I had a small group. We went to Topgolf on our first day. I had a small group before I went to go pick her up for a date, and I was just like, I kind of had a breakdown in the small group, and I'm like, like this, we're going on this date, and then like that's gonna be it, you know? Because it's like this is just too much pressure, and but I was like, we're gonna go on this date, and we actually went on the date, and we were sitting there golfing, and both of us were like, this is a lot, you know?
It's a lot of pressure. Like we were talking about how overwhelmed we both were.
That's so funny, both of you were overwhelmed.
Yeah, and so it was like really easy to be like, okay, so this date's actually going well. And like both of us were feeling the same exact thing, because it was like we had to have our minds made up about, you know, what was going to happen between the two of us. And even though I kind of had my mind made up, because like I said, y'all was telling me. But
so you had the peace of God, and you had your own inner peace, but the pressure from everybody else,
it was,
what their thoughts were and everything, that was getting too much.
Yes. It was rough.
We should definitely clarify that. We had the peace from the Lord. Like the Lord. And I remember our first date was really long. It was super good. Like there was not an awkward pause from the moment he picked me up till the end, and it was like over 8 hours, I think. Over 8 hour long.
There was some awkwardness.
Was it?
She roasts me.
Okay.
And so like
I
was
wasn't
right.
Awkward at all.
I was right behind her to pick her up, because she was driving to her apartment and I was driving to her apartment.
Yeah, I was driving home from being with Anna at like a coffee shop, and I was behind him and I was like, oh, that's Will's car. And the entire time he was driving, I saw him like doing this.
Trying to move back.
And so I thought maybe that's just something he does when he drives.
That's cute.
And so as soon as I pick her up and get her car, she's like, why'd you keep messing with your hair?
No, I didn't say that. I remember I went, you mess with your hair a lot when you drive. Because I didn't think that would bother him at all. And he was like,
does it look good though?
Yeah.
Does it look good?
I was like, what? You're like, I'm just trying to look good for you.
Oh, I love it.
You actually said that, which I thought was kind of funny.
But isn't that like freeing though, because y'all were feeling the same thing, but y'all were able to like just communicate authentically. Weren't like trying to hold back anything, like I'm not gonna say that. You're just honest.
Yeah.
For sure. It's like this, and even with the hair thing, it's just like you need something to break the ice.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, I've already kind of looked stupid, so like, you know, if I look dumb while playing Topgolf, it's not going to look as bad. Or like this is already a lot of pressure. Now that I know that she's feeling a lot of pressure, and like we're feeling the same exact thing, so it's kind of like, okay, we're in this together, you know, which is really what it was from the beginning, but because so much pressure had mounted up, it really just feels like we kind of felt like we were in two separate boats, but we had to like flow down the same stream.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Right. I get you. And like Will and I are of the same mind, and like we're both communicators, like heavy communicators. So like if we can do anything, we can yap.
Yeah. And so
I like great communicators. I will agree with that.
Thank you.
But no. And so like I said, our first date went great. We played Topgolf. We got some food. Yeah. And then I went back and we just talked for a long time about you know, just where our testimonies are, her life, my life, stuff like that. And it was really a good get to know you thing. And I got the second date, so
I feel like the majority of the beginning of our relationship was us like being at our destination, but sitting in the car and talking for a couple hours.
Those make for great dates, I think, because you're getting to know each other and you have so much on your heart too.
Yeah,
you're just like, okay, I can vibe with this person, I can communicate with them, I feel safe, I feel comfortable. I mean, you need all that, right?
Yeah.
Versus just like we did putt-putting, or we did bowling, or we did this.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Went to
Do I
this
know
expensive
him?
restaurant. We went to
Is he crazy? How does he mentally those are key. So then y'all had the second date, and then from then on, like, how quickly did y'all know, okay, this is moving forward?
So we went to the Eve Parade in Mandeville during Mardi Gras. I'm trying to think what else we did. She taught me how to crochet. That was our second official day.
Yeah.
And she said I was her worst student. Or not anymore, though.
Not anymore. I've had worse students since then. But at that time, I was like, I don't know if I can teach you. I don't know if I'm a good enough teacher.
And then our third date was just, we got pizza and we were going to watch some movies. And I remember during one of the movies, or during the end of the date, so we watched the second movie, I put my arm around.
Oh.
And she laughed. Did
I laugh? I don't remember laughing.
And so,
like a giggle, or like, haha, why is he doing that?
it was a ha ha ha.
I did not laugh
Yes,
at
you
you.
did, I promise.
No, I would remember
But
that.
I remember I was leaving, and
I
like I
didn't
said,
even tell the thing about what. Never mind.
no, I was leaving, and like I said, most dates that we had prior up to that point, and like I said, we also had hangouts before that. We would just talk for a really long time, and but as I was leaving, she looked at me and she was like, she said something along the lines of like, I just want to let you know, like, I'm not ready,
To be your girlfriend.
to be your girlfriend,
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And I was
I
like,
said, I want to take the step between us dating and being like official kind of slow because I feel overwhelmed with everything.
yeah, and I was like, okay. I was like, if we can just keep going like how we're going now, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
And then this was like a week later. We were watching a movie with a few of her friends, but then our friends left. And she was like, if you asked me to be your girlfriend, I would probably say yes. So.
Wait, this was like a week later, you said?
Yeah, I think more what I wanted was I felt like pressure. And so then when the pressure was off, I was like, how do I feel about this? Oh, I feel good. Okay, we're good to go. And I was praying about it the whole time, and I was like feeling like, because in my past relationship, it wasn't like in the Lord or whatever, so I kind of equated being in relationships to bringing me away from God. So I kept praying, and I was like, almost like, God, just tell me that you're mad at me. Just tell me that you don't want me to do this relationship. And like the Lord was always like, I feel good about the way this is going. Like I'm happy with the way the day is going. I think you guys are good. And so I think it gave me time to be like, I think this is good. This is good.
And so it was just interesting because we were talking, and she was like, if you asked me, I would say yes. And in my head, I was like, a week ago you just told me that you aren't ready, so I'm not going to ask.
Okay.
And that was on a Saturday, and then, but as I went home, I was praying about it, and I was like, I think it was the 17th of February, which is my brother's birthday. Okay. So I was like, I'm not going to ask you out on my brother's birthday. I'm not going to have that be like our dating anniversary or whatever.
Wow.
And
actually, it's good. Good point.
Yeah, it didn't seem very logical. And so
I don't want to think about you and my brother.
So I was like, I went home and I prayed about it. And so that Sunday, I was like, okay, I'm going to ask her today. And so I did. And she said yes.
Well, if you had asked me out one day earlier, look, that would have made sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's why it's February.
Yeah. I guess I got to show it real quick.
Yeah. Please do.
This is like a cute little thing that he got me for one of our like month anniversaries or whatever.
That was our anniversary.
Oh, was it our anniversary?
So cute.
It's accidentally got the wrong date on it.
Yeah.
Aww.
So what happened real quick.
But it has more character that it's the wrong date.
Yeah, for our anniversary, I had bought her that. And
I'm sorry.
And it was supposed to have our anniversary date on it, but I guess when I had bought it, the personalization, I put in the wrong date, and so
like he emailed the guy and was like, you put the wrong date, and he shared a screenshot and he was like, you put the wrong date.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. And Okay, so when did y'all know, yes, this is moving towards marriage?
Oh,
How quickly? Because I mean, y'all started dating, and
yeah.
y'all started aligning, I'm sure.
I can tell this actual story here.
Sure. I mean, we're already married.
Yeah, so we had dated, so we had gotten together that Sunday, and our young adults were doing a homeless outreach.
Okay.
Like
On
we
that too.
started actually being boyfriend girlfriend.
Yeah, that Sunday. And so the next Tuesday, our young adults leaders were doing.
When you asked. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I got it.
Our young adults that Tuesday after, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, where we were doing a leadership homeless outreach, so we did that, and it had gone so good that our Gerard was like, we're going to do this on Friday as well. Well, on Friday we had a date planned.
Got it.
Mhm.
We're going to watch a movie, get some food. I made some steaks.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, we're going to do the homeless outreach, then we're going to come back and we're going to watch a movie and eat some steaks. Before that, I picked her up because I had class until noon. I picked her up. We went back to my apartment, and we were just talking and getting ready for the homeless outreach, and buying the steaks, going to the grocery store and stuff like that. And we had just sat down and talked, and I was like, I just want to let you know, I'm planning on marrying you. I'm going to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this is about a weekend, and I was like, we're going to figure this out.
Obviously, I was like, and I ran for the hills.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding.
And so I was pretty sure very early on this, okay, this is what I'm aiming towards. This is what we're aiming towards. I just wanted to get it out of the way so you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Honestly, I do want to say that's a good thing. Guys get nervous, and it's fair, it's respectable. They get nervous, but clarity is always so good for both parties. So kudos to that.
And it helps that I've always known she's really easy to talk to. So I'm just okay, this is even about the serious stuff. This is what the goal is, and so this is what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say engagement came probably at that time whenever I was talking to her about it.
Mm-hmm.
Engagement came quicker than I think I initially expected, but it was still good nonetheless.
Yeah.
So did you know at that point, or did you know early on when you started crushing on her, hey, this is the girl that I could want to marry?
Well, like I said, I really felt like God set her aside. I was like, this is the girl you're going to marry. And like I said, anytime I tried to be no, it was yes.
Met with it, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just it just kind of worked together in that sort of way. And anything that she did, I was kind of I would think it was cute, or just little things. I'm one that, like I said, the hopeless romantic in me sees I'll turn anything into a sign from God, So,
you can all do that, honestly.
Yeah. So the fact I was writing a song about her when she got in her accident, I was like,
So it was a sign.
yeah.
Hey. Well, that's not a tiny sign.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's true, but
Happened to be writing a song about her right in the moment she got hit by a car.
But yes, I it was just kind of okay, I was pretty confident going into this relationship, but now I need to let her know. Because if she wasn't if she's just if she was going to be scared off by it, well, I'd rather her be scared off by it a week into the relationship than 3 months into it,
Right, she's not on the same page.
Yeah, that was sort of his attitude the whole time in the relationship. He's here's things you need to know.
Oh yeah.
If you can't, if it's not something you can live with, then
That's so cool, though.
Yeah, not in a bad way, not in I don't take out the trash, leave with it, or something
No, yeah,
like
that was something I very much on our first date. I was I just kind of showed her all my luggage and just be or all my baggage, and be this is it.
Yeah.
And I was and the reason I'm doing this is not that, I'm always working to be a better person, but here are things about me that I know that I'm and that I'm working through, or things that have happened in my past, and I'm just because I value your time and I value my time.
Yeah.
And it's and if it's just something that you're hey, I don't really think I can deal with this, then that's fine. But I don't want you to be sitting around here for a month and then be oh, I can't do this, and then you miss out on the opportunity to be with someone else or something like that, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So that was something I was very much from the very beginning. I was I'm gonna let you know.
And did you feel okay, so you were feeling peace that this is from God when he presented that to you? Were you I don't know, maybe I'm getting scared, maybe I'm getting nervous, or maybe I don't know yet? Or
Well, I really appreciated it. Through the whole relationship, I feel I knew where his head was at, and he was really honest with me about everything, so I was able to evaluate it and stuff. And also, like, I'm a big, like, I say this all the time with people, is you don't get to pick whether you have problems when you're married, but you get to pick the problems you can live with.
Yes, agreed.
And that's no small thing. Like, if someone has a problem when you're dating them and you can't handle that, like, something I can't handle is any amount of, like, loyalty issues. Like, if I'm ever worried that they're gonna, like, that they're, like, trash talking me to their friends, or they're gonna, like, oh, God forbid, cheat on me or whatever, that's not a problem I can live with. But, like, the problems that he was like, oh, these are things that I struggle with, this is, like, my testimony and my sort of thing. I was like, those are problems I could live with. And those are things that I can work through, and that, you know, I can have grace about and stuff. So that was good for me to know. And I held on to my, like, baggage for longer than he did. So it was whenever he was like, I want you to be my girlfriend, I was like, well, before you decide about that, here's my stuff. Because I was able to be like, okay, he's been honest to me with all of his stuff. And also, I made a joke about him telling me that he wanted to marry me, but that was really comforting for me, because I'm never the kind of person who likes to be in relationships where you're, like, not super sure about how the other person feels about you.
Yes.
Like, I want to know exactly how they feel about me.
Yeah, I think everybody really secretly wants that, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason, sometimes people get into these situationships just because it's like, oh, you know, maybe I haven't dated anyone. Like, but y'all were both at a place where it's like, if you weren't dating, you were fine.
Yeah.
Which brings me back to the point, just rewind a little bit back to when you were at the accident, because you said you were fine and content, but then for whatever reason, when you were at the accident, after you were like, no, I want to get married, I want, like, that desire just came back. So then that, I guess, is kind of like God's way of just preparing and setting it all up.
I think the Lord was kind of holding back my, like, because I always had the thing where I wanted to be in a, like, I wanted to be married. I think once you're in a relationship where you're talking about marriage, it's hard to turn it off. And in my past relationship, we had talked about marriage, but I had never been engaged or anything. But it was like, it had turned on, the Lord, like, suppressed it for me, so that I could, you know, I was rebuilding a lot of parts of my life at the time, and it really just wasn't a good time to be thinking about that. And I would tell people all the time, I was like, I'm not looking for my husband, I'm looking for my bridesmaids right now.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and actually, funnily enough, that was true. Like, all the friends that I made in that period of time were the people who stood up with me when we got married. And so it just, like, a few weeks before I got in my car accident, it switched, and I was, like, deep in prayer about it. I was like, Lord, this hurts.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I had this longing, and, like, I would see videos online of, like, little babies, and I would be like, what's this?
It's a real thing.
Yeah, and then I got in my car accident, and then it sort of went away for a little bit because I was focused on living. And then near the end, it came back, and I was just like, I would be laying awake in bed, and I would just be thinking about, like, I want to get married. God, these are things that I want in the man I'm going to marry. And actually, a lot of that was stuff that, actually, all of it was stuff that applied to Will. And like, even like the tiny stuff, like, I was like, Castell is a really sick last name.
Yeah.
I really don't want to give it up for something. And actually, until our first date, I didn't know Will's last name.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know what it was.
I didn't know that.
I'm terrible with names. So whenever we were talking about names, I think you did, because I think I was like, what's your last name? And you were like, Palomares. Really? I was like, that's pretty cool. That's a cool one.
I've only been writing songs about you, and I've only been, and you don't know my last name.
Okay, I have been gone. My brain was rattled.
Totally okay.
But yeah, there's just a bunch of little things. I was like, I want him to be a really romantic guy. And I was never really into, like, super, I mean, I'm loud enough for two people. You know what I mean?
I see.
So I don't really like when the guy's, like, super loud, and he's always, like...
You're a good loud, though. You're not, like, overbearing loud. You're just, like, fun.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. Don't you giggle. Don't you do it. But anyways, I was more into, like, soft confidence, like, which I think you exemplify really well.
Sure do.
Like, you're very self-assured, but you're also not, like, you're not trying to prove that to people. Yeah.
Which is when, like, everybody was telling you what to do. You're like, bro, get off my back.
Get off my back.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, I'd agree.
So cool.
And like I said, everything that I was looking for. I was just really looking for someone that, I mean, obviously, I was looking for a woman of God. And
a wog, if you will.
A wog.
Oh,
I wanted someone that was, like, musically gifted, which she is.
Yes.
We need to form a band. I keep saying this.
And it was just like, there was a lot of things. I think another thing, though, is like watching her and like worship, kind of going back to that first instance where I saw her worship, and something that always sticks out in my mind is that I was just like, oh, I want someone that's like going to challenge me to grow spiritually. And also, but not just spiritually, she challenges me to grow like intellectually. I've been in relationships before where it's like me and the other person have to be like joined on every single issue. And I was just like, I couldn't have my own opinion and that person couldn't have their own opinion, and it got really like toxic to the part where I was like, I would disagree with them, and my girlfriend at the time would be like, no, because we believe in this. And I'm like, you believe in that, I don't, you know? And so I was like, I need someone that can think critically and that can challenge me.
I can think critically, all right.
And she can think critically. And also I was like, I need someone that can like really, my PhD is in political philosophy. I was like, I need someone that can like, okay, think deep with me.
And go there with you, yeah.
And she can do that. And then also, one thing that I really loved, and something that she kind of told me in the beginning of our relationship, was like, we can yap for days. But also I was like, it's nice to have someone that you can enjoy silence with as well.
Right.
And so, you know, throughout our relationship and our engagements, like, there would be times where we're like, okay, we're just yapping. There's some times where we're just sitting in silence and like, but just enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times it's like it has to be one or the other, but a lot of times it's, for us, it's like it's both. Like, I can just sit there in my recliner, she can sit here, and we can do our own thing and just enjoy each other's presence.
That's beautiful.
But then I can just be like, hey, Kara, like, let's go watch a movie, or let's go, what do you think about this? And then we'll get into a conversation.
That's my favorite thing. It's like I'll think about something and I'll be like, wait till I get home. My husband will hear about this and I'll come in the door and I'll be like, what do you think about taxes?
And then y'all go there. Wait, so I love the fact that, I mean, it's true. I think, at least my desire growing up, I remember thinking, I just want to be able to enjoy the person. And that can look like anything. Like, you have to do the mundane things, and you're like, I just want to be able to enjoy that with them. Or sit on the couch and be like, hey, I like you. You're not bothering me. You're not, like, annoying me. You're not, and not to say that we don't have, you know, people aren't people, and that doesn't happen. But for the most part, you're like, you're an excellent human being. I really enjoy you. Feel safe with you, all the things. Let me ask, both families were like on board with y'all connecting?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my family actually, I don't know, like, I think it really was a God thing, because my family has always like been really, because, you know, they love me and they think very highly of me, so they're always like, I don't know if there's anyone that could, you know, be worthy of you or whatever, which is so nice. But I brought Will to meet them, and I did it right this time. Last time, I in the past kept a secret from my family until we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and then I would tell them, I was like, I went on a date with this guy, and actually I think I told them when you asked me out, and I was like super forward with it the whole time. And then I brought him home, and my dad is like this pretty intimidating guy, especially intellectually. He's the head theologian of the church. He teaches a bunch of classes. He's like getting his PhD. He's been getting it a long time, but because this is like so thorough. Like, if he's even gonna mention something passing in his like paper, he goes and he becomes an expert on it.
Right.
So I don't know why he's that way, but he is. And so he sort of was like in this posture of like, I'm gonna figure out you and I'm gonna test you. And he asked you who your favorite author was, and I will never forget that. He's like, who do you think is the best author? And he said,
I was like, because I like the classics, so I said Dostoevsky.
And he went, that's the right answer! Like, he literally looked absolutely shocked on his face, and he was so excited. He was like, that's the right answer! And
that's so cool.
My parents liked him so much that after a while my dad sat me down. He was like, hey, I don't want you to think that because we like Will so much you have to marry him. Like, I don't want us to pressure you into it, because they liked him. Yeah, they liked you so much, and my dad was like, don't feel like you have to be with him because we like him so much.
Yeah, I mean, we'll still have him around.
Yeah, he'll still be invited to family gatherings, but you can go off and...
No, and my parents, it was actually crazy. So my parents, they live in South Carolina, so they weren't able to meet Charis until a few months into our relationship.
I remember the first time, like at 2 a.m. we had just gotten there.
We had to drive back to South Carolina. But, I mean, I told them very early on, like, we got engaged 6 months into our relationship, but I had told them like, hey, I'm thinking about proposing. Like, I think this is the girl I want to be with, like, 2 months in, you know? And I was really nervous because my sister's married. I don't remember how long her and her husband were together, but my brother had just got married, and him and his girlfriend, or his wife now, they were together like 5 years or so.
They were really young whenever.
Yeah,
they were
really young. They were like fresh out of high school.
High school. Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, that was kind of the standard that I saw. So I was like, you know, 2 months in. Yeah, and like I said, I've been in a really bad relationship prior to, and so it's like, you know, I wanted them to know that I was making smart decisions, and that this wasn't like Will's just being this hopeless romantic. So I was like, no, this is a God thing.
Yeah.
And I called my mom up, and my mom was like, yeah, like, I'm fine. Which I expected from my mom. It was more so my dad and my brother. And my brother, it took him a second. He was like, I just want you to make sure you're making this right decision. He goes, but whatever you do, I'm going to support you. Which was really nice, and he has been super supportive. My dad was interesting too, because he's always been like, he's a very logical guy. He's like, make sure you're thinking through these, or you're being wise about your decisions.
Have you covered your steps?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
we're good.
And he knew, he, like I said, I think he had talked to Charis on the phone probably before, but I called him.
Daddy? I called up your dad?
Well, no, like whenever I was talking to him, you probably were there.
Oh, okay. I think you just said hey or something.
Yeah, but he knows in a relationship. But I told him, and he goes, okay, and he goes, I already knew.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, how? And he goes, because like I could tell that you really loved her, and I was like,
Aww.
and I was like, how? And it's like, there's just like some ways that you talk about her that's like it was obvious, and he's like,
wow.
I support y'all 100%. And so after that, you know, it became a process. There was a process of like, there was a lot that was going on in life at that time, but it was like, okay, you know, let's make sure, let's keep going at this, but I started looking at rings, you know, making sure we're really compatible.
No, you can't
beautiful.
see it. Boom.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, though. Well, that was a great, great story. Is there anything else I'd like to add, maybe to wrap it up?
To wrap it up.
Trying to think. I was going to say we got engaged August 18th, 2024. Got married June 15th, 2025.
Which was a beautiful wedding.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yes, it was so pretty.
I was going to say, and you know, it's been good. I would say, you know, one last thing is because we're just talking, and you're talking about like being like finding that person, and like you know, you want to find someone that it's not like you don't get annoyed with them. Like I do plenty of stuff that annoys her.
You're turning around on me now.
And I'm sure she does stuff that annoys me.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but like I just think, first off, you know, pray about it when it comes to godly relationships. But also, like, I think back to times where there'll be times where I'm just sitting on this couch and like she'll be crocheting and our recliner is over there. And I'll just look at her and it's kind of like hits you again, and you're like, wow, that's my wife, you know? Or I get to spend the rest of my life with this person. And like, I don't know, to me that's love, you know?
Yeah, agreed. Because it's like that choice, like, hey, wow, I can't imagine, like, God, you blessed me with this. But the second thing is, God still gave you that choice, and she chose you, and you chose her, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
We chose each other, we're choosing each other every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's just like, I don't know. It's a crazy feeling, you know? I just excited for people to feel that feeling.
Yeah. And because my last little thing is like, I don't know. It's just things I was thinking is that like Will's my best friend and I admire him a lot. I think that's really important. And I guess just because like people just like want to talk to you about it whenever you're getting engaged. A lot of people were like, so what's the secret? How do you find it? And they're kind of being joking. But I think like the thing that I would always say to people is like, if you want a blessing from God, you have to be a blessing from God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it would really suck if Will came into my life and he was all that I ever wanted, and I was like a burden on his life. You know what I mean? Like, I was like someone who wasn't working on myself. He had to do all the work of like helping me regulate things that I was struggling with and stuff. And you know, ultimately, like, if you can do all the right things, but it's God's timing and stuff.
God's timing. was a great story. You guys are great.
Thank you.
And y'all hit up so many good points, answered all my questions. So thank y'all so much again.
Of course, thank you. I'm so excited. Episode 1.
Woohoo.
The pilot.
Down in the books.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. God bless.